G'day guys, what's going on and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing my round 24 tips and reviewing my round 23 tips. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So in my round 23 tips I got 5 out of 9. On the Friday night, Essendon lost to Sydney by 39 and I tipped Sydney by 11. I just forgot to tip on ESPN. And I got that tip right. Then I tipped Gold Coast to beat Melbourne. And in a surprise, they lost by 9 goals down in Gold Coast. And then a close game between GWS and Fremantle. I expected that one to happen. I knew it would be close. Collingwood to beat Brisbane. What a comeback by Collingwood that was in the last quarter. They ended up winning by 1 point to keep their final chances alive, but they're probably out of it, I'd say, if they don't win by a massive margin. But they need Carlton to lose and Freo to lose to make it. They need to win by a bit. And St Kilda Geelong. St Kilda with an upset by 2 goals, which are 3 goals, which is good for the Saints to put them in 13th and Gold Coast below them. And then Port Adelaide won by 22 points, so that was good for the Power to end the streak. Oh, the Dogs, 96 points to beat North. They're lucky they didn't smash. North are lucky they didn't get smashed by 100 points. I saw that happening. Hawthorn beat Richmond by 63, expected. The Eagles lost 65, which I won't go into big detail. But it wasn't very good for West Coast, but at least Freo are probably out of finals now. Alright, now with around 24 tips. Melbourne Collingwood at the MCG 5:40 tonight. I'm streaming this. My heart's saying Melbourne, but my brain's saying Collingwood. I do not know who to tip with this one. Both sides had a good week last week. Collingwood come back, Melbourne thrashing. And it's going to be a tough game, but just because of the percentage of the tips and Collingwood have been a better side than Melbourne this year, I'd say. I'd probably say Collingwood by 8. It'll be one of the games of the season. I reckon it'll even lower. Collingwood by 3. I reckon this will be one of the games of the season, but whenever I tip close games, it I just smashing. So, look, Collingwood by 3, and you'd hope it happens. Geelong to beat the Eagles by maybe 92 down in Geelong. At GMHBA, I'll be streaming that. Won't be very pleasant to stream, but I'll still stream it. Geelong will thrash the Eagles. The Eagles got thrashed by Carlton. That means they're going to get thrashed by Geelong. So it's going to be tough for the Eagles. Their last game of the season against Geelong. And it won't be a good one. Richmond Gold Coast. Gold Coast to maybe win by 5. After that thrashing in Melbourne, in Gold Coast last week. They have won away once, and I don't see why they can't do it again for the Suns. Richmond, they've been the worst side all season. All season they have been. Their only really good glimpse is the game against Adelaide and the game against, who was it? Sydney. And it's just not looked good for... It's not looked good for Richmond this year, and it looked good for Gold Coast until this second half of the season hasn't been great for the Suns, losing over half of their games, way more than half, and it's embarrassing for Gold Coast. Everyone expected them to make finals, but they just slipped away. And now they probably won't. They can't, in fact. So, but Gold Coast will get a last win on the board by maybe 5 or 6. A goal. It'll be close. Hawthorn North. Hawthorn by maybe 89. Well, North last week to the Dogs, they lost by 96 in a strong game. The only really highlight I saw North playing is the Jai Simpkin mark. What a mark that was. I reckon that's better than Elliott's in my opinion. Or maybe not better, but that will be a contender. That was insane. That's better than Bobby Hill's, I'd say. but that mark from Jai Simpkin was amazing. But that's the only really highlight I saw from North when I was watching. I watched the whole last 2 quarters, and North were horrible. Sam Darcy kicked 8 goals for the Dogs, and then the Hawks smashing Richmond by 63. Again, it was expected, but all of their players just keep starring. It's not hard for Hawthorn. They're easily the most entertaining side in the comp to watch, and we're going to see that side again against North to win by 89. Brisbane Lions versus Essendon. The Lions will win by maybe 37. Brisbane, look, it's just been tough for Brisbane because they need to recover from that choke last week to Collingwood. And that wasn't very good. They were basically up the whole game until Collingwood came in the last quarter. Lockie Schultz kicking 2 of the last 3 goals, which put the Collingwood Magpies in front to beat Brisbane. And then Essendon. What can I say about Essendon? They have been horrible. They lost Mac Andrew after the siren, lost to Sydney by 39. I think, 39, and a few weeks before that it has been good. They've won 1 out of their last 5. Brisbane have won 3 out of their last 5. Brisbane will beat the Essendon Bombers maybe by 35, and with a couple of players retiring for Essendon, it'll be tough for Essendon. They won't win this one on Sunday night footy. Sydney versus Adelaide. Adelaide came off a tough loss in the showdown last week, but the Sydney Swans, in fact, they won by 38-39, I think, to Essendon, which was expected. But they actually thrashed Essendon. I thought it would be closer, but good on you, Sydney. Adelaide, I thought they'd do way better. Didn't tip them, but I thought they'd do way better. I would be disappointed if I was an Adelaide fan, but then again, Port are second on the ladder, so I probably wouldn't. Port have been amazing. Giants have been amazing. Geelong have been... all the top 8 sides haven't been amazing this year. The Dogs haven't. The Carlton Blues haven't, but the rest have. And all I'm going to say is Adelaide will make this close at the Sydney Cricket Ground for maybe a half, and then Sydney will run away with the chocolates and win by maybe 41 points. Smashing. Sunday the 25th of August at 10:30am my time, the Dogs take on the Giants. I'm probably going to say the Dogs to win, the Dogs to lose this one to GWS. GWS have won their last 5 games. The last meeting, the Dogs won by 27, but then before that, the Giants won, the Bulldogs won the time before that. But I reckon the Giants will beat the Bulldogs this time down in Ballarat. It'd be good for the Giants to keep their top 2 hopes alive if Port Adelaide lose to... oh, they're down here. If Port Adelaide lose to Freo. Yeah, and it'll be pretty good for the Giants to win. I think it'll be 9 in a row after this game, and they'd hope they can finish it off in the finals to maybe win their first flag. You never know what can happen in the AFL. And the Dogs won a win last week. They played with so much spirit against North. Their 96-point win was wonderful, but then again, it's the bottom 2 side, so it's not very good for the North Melbourne Kangaroos. Great for the Dogs. The Dogs are the favourites, but I reckon the Giants will run away with the chocolates here by maybe 7 points. It'll be a close game like last time in Ballarat. 1:20, Carlton take on St Kilda. I'd probably say Carlton to win this one. But St Kilda, they have been outstanding the last 5 weeks. They've been wonderful. It's just been insane what St Kilda have been doing the last 5 weeks. To get them out of the bottom 5 was a really massive stretch for St Kilda. They're now sitting 13th above Gold Coast and Adelaide and the other sides. It's been really good for St Kilda to stretch out of the bottom 4 and even the bottom 5. So this will be close. Carlton need to lose for Freo to make finals. I reckon, even though I've got Carlton right now, Carlton won't win. I reckon St Kilda will win by 1 point. It'll be a thrilling game. Carlton just aren't good enough for St Kilda. They're good enough for West Coast, but not for St Kilda. So I'll probably say St Kilda by 1. It'll be such a close game at Marvel. The last game of the round at Optus, Freo versus Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide, they have nothing to play for really. They're already basically secured into the finals. They're secured into the top 4. They're secured into the top 3, in fact. So they don't have anything to play for, the Giants. But Freo, on the other hand, if Carlton lose, they have a lot to play for. Even if the Dogs lose, they have a lot to play for. Freo, they just need this win to make the finals. But they need either Carlton to lose, the Dogs to lose, or Hawthorn to lose. Hawthorn probably won't lose, but the Dogs and Carlton will be tough. So Freo, they will win this one by 10 points in a close game against the Power. The only reason I'm going to be saying this, on a normal day I'd say Port Adelaide, but Port Adelaide, they really have nothing to play for. They have nothing to play for, and Freo have a lot to play for. Let's just say that. So, last game, Port Adelaide won by 3. The game before that, Port Adelaide won by 16. And Freo will get the chocolates by 10 points in a really close match. And, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching my tips. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.